covering florist wire with thread. I use florist wire, covered florist wire for sheep, my little sheep's horns, or for creating tendrils, or for the stems of flowers. In this case, I have 2 strands of stranded cotton, just easier than using a single strand for demonstration purposes. I have a number 30 paper covered wire, and I've deliberately used a green with a contrasting thread so that you can see the difference, the contrast. Normally for the sheep, for example, I would use a white wire and cream thread. For the tendrils of plants, I would use a green wire and cover with a green thread. So I just make the end of my finger somewhat sticky with using a glue stick. It can be fabric glue or just regular Prit, for example, this is. And just make the end of the wire slightly tacky. Pick up your 2 strands of stranded cotton, or 1 if you want to create really fine wires. Place them so that they're facing each other, and then put the thread on top of the wire. Make sure that it is sticky. I need it just a little bit more there. It will dry clear anyway if you have got a little bit of glue. And then start wrapping from the end, being careful not to overlap the thread and not to leave gaps in between. So if you need to be, just push it up and work down. For the little sheep's horns, I would cover around about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters. Nice and smooth. Obviously, a single strand is even smoother than 2 strands. And you can vary the thickness of your wire. You can see this wire wants to bend quite easily, but you can vary it according to what you are creating. This is a 30, which is fairly fine. It goes down to a 30 or 32 or 33. So work for the sheep's horns, roughly I would cover about 1 inch. I'm overlapping slightly there. It's quite, sort of fiddly, but in some ways relatively therapeutic. So just carry on covering roughly 1 inch, as I said. And then once you've covered the tail thread and where you want to be, just bring the thread round, form a loop as you would for a buttonhole, and pull it through and lock the last one so that you've actually effectively knotted the thread and you've created your horn. I use a chenille needle. You can use a toothpick, and just gently place the wire against the needle and wrap it around the wire, and in such a way you create your little horn. I'll just remove that, and you can see I've created my little horn. If it was a tendril, obviously I would cover according to how long I want the tendril to be. So a relatively simple thing to do. Maybe takes a bit of practice at first, but very effective on your piece of embroidery to give it dimension for stump work.